Having built a career in banking and finance, some would expect us to be a lot smarter on how we handle our finances. However, now in my late 30s, I look back at my years in banking and realize that I was so burned out worrying about other people's finances that I was actually neglecting mine. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tasha. I am a treasury manager who loves making videos on how to level up personally and financially. So in this video, I will be talking about the 8 money lessons that I wish my younger self knew. So let's dive into it. The first is taxes. So a famous quote on taxes by Benjamin Franklin is when he said, "Nothing in this world can be certain except for death and taxes." If you are still in your 9 to 5 or work in a country where the tax rates are so high, you definitely know what I'm talking about. As a single person living in Germany with no kids, 42% of my salary goes to taxes. If you think about it, that's like half of your income that automatically gets deducted before the money even reaches your bank account. Personally, I don't find tax sexy and it's definitely not fun to learn. However, I realize the value of actually understanding our taxes. The more acquainted we are about which of our investments or expenses are tax deductible, the better we have control of what to buy, when to buy, and what to declare as an expense or additional income into the tax authority. The second is to actively manage my portfolio. Historic data shows that the general tendency of the stock market is to go up, which is why previously, unless there was an unusual peak in a stock price, I would just basically invest at any given time. I used to create a standing order from my bank account that would flow directly into my investment portfolio and invest a certain amount into each stock every month. This was quite nice because in a way it was very passive and I didn't have to constantly look or monitor my portfolio. That time, I thought that this was like an easy way to manage my portfolio because on one end, I was super busy to worry about, how my money's growing. But subconsciously, I was kind of thinking, okay, fine, if this is the general tendency of the stock market, then gradually during time, like the value of my money would increase. But because I was so passive in my investments, I missed out on a lot of opportunities to earn money through arbitrage, which is to buy a stock low, sell high, then buy more stocks when the price drops again. So previously, I invested in a listed company that had to file for insolvency because of fraudulent financial reporting and corrupt practices. I was so passive in managing my portfolio that I failed to pull out my money earlier. And because of this, I lost quite a sum of money. But it was also a very big game changer for me because it shifted my mindset from passively managing my portfolio to actively looking at it, learning more about the stocks and the companies that I invest in. In the end, it helped me get a better understanding of how my portfolio actually moves. The third would be anxiety and fear can often lead to expensive mistakes. Honestly, how many of you have sold a stock too soon? I have, in fact, several times, only to find out later that the price of the stock or commodity has increased after some time. And even if I did not physically lose money, I lost a lot on this opportunity cost to gain because I sold my stock too soon. So previously, when I see my overall portfolio fall, it used to create this fear and anxiety in me and brought me into a panic mode, which led me to impulsively sell a stock too soon. And yes, I had to deal with these after effects of watching that stock or ETF rise, knowing that I pulled out too early. Now, in the corporate side, I get to work with our CFO a lot more closely, and it's amazing to see how calm and rational he is despite turbulent moments. And I guess it's because of this ability to stay calm, to stay rational and logical, he is still able to make analytical and logical decisions on how to move the company forward. It's a tough skill to master, but definitely one for the books. Controlling our emotions, especially during turbulent times. The fourth would be if I were to choose between skill or money, I'd go for skill. It's so easy to get lured to work for a company just based on the salary they offer. And to be honest, it can get too comfortable too quickly. So back when I was still in banking, I was chasing bigger projects, bigger clients, more revenue for that bonus or pay rise at the end of the year. However, having left the bank, I see that these projects were quite useful in a way that it did help my soft skills. However, sometimes I wish I dedicated more time and energy learning skills and strategies that would one day help me become an entrepreneur or build a business. The fifth, your circle can make or break you. Have you ever felt that you needed to live up to a certain image just because of what you see around you? A study conducted by Qualtrics, a US software company, shows that a third of Gen Zers and millennials admit to having a friend that pushes them to spend more than what they can afford. As humans, we have this need to belong, that we have this innate need to feel part of a community. And one method of doing this is trying to adapt to your circle, whether it is your work colleagues, if you spend 40 or more hours with them, or through your circle of friends. And I think if you have expensive friends, it can be quite the effort to have to live up to their living standards. Personally, I think it's good to do an audit of your spending to see how much of this is influenced by your environment. 6, needs are subjective. Haven't you noticed that there are some people, despite having high incomes, file for bankruptcy? It is usually due to that lifestyle upgrade that comes with a higher income. Sometimes I find that the higher our disposable income, the more we manifest our needs. So the longer I worked in the bank, the more stressed I became and the more needs I started to manifest. So it became like these yoga classes in this pretty studio to make me feel worthy, or these monthly facials to combat signs of aging, or those expensive dry cleaning bills because of those expensive clothes that I bought in order to fit in. Soon enough, I had a lot of fixed expenses to pay out my monthly needs. After leaving banking and moving to a startup, my so-called needs instantly vanished. I found out that it is possible to live a good life without them and became creative on how I could find substitutes or cheaper alternatives to them. The 7th would be to build a circle of friends or board of directors with the same financial goals as you do. So there are several ways to learn about finances. There is the social media path, you have everything in YouTube, Instagram, you can research, or you can also network with people who have the same goals as you do. So the latter is definitely a fun and engaging way to build your financial knowledge. It's very interactive and interesting to hear other people's experiences in investing in certain assets or in certain portfolios. When I was still working in the bank, I would hang out with people who were quite active in managing different types of portfolios. Personally, I learned more from talking to these people than researching or just watching the news. Currently, I network with people with their own real estate investments, which was initially something I was too scared to invest in, especially because real estate is not as liquid as, for example, stocks, ETFs, or bonds, which basically means that if I need money right now, it would be easier for me to sell like a stock, a bond, or a digital currency as compared to, for example, selling a house. So the last would be sales and discounts. I think sales and discounts are psychological tricks that retailers play on us to make us think that we are saving when in fact we're actually spending more. It's kind of like that feeling when you go to IKEA. You go to IKEA with a list of things you want to buy, but end up purchasing more items and spending a lot more. So I find that sales and discounts are a breeding ground for overspending or purchasing items just because they are cheaper instead of purchasing something because you need them. There are always exceptions to this. Like, for example, when you want to buy a laptop but instead wait for the sale because that laptop will be sold at a cheaper price. But generally, if not careful, these sales and discounts can tend to drain our pockets. So there you have it. These are the 8 lessons that I learned about finances now that I'm in my late 30s. And I wish in a way someone would have basically just told me about them sooner. So I love this platform because it also gives me the opportunity to learn from you guys. If you have any lessons in life or money that you'd love to share, I'm super curious to hear about them in the comment section below. If you made it this far, thanks for watching and see you in my next video.